Another day, another logic game, and once again with the same couple of agendas. We want to notice our key skills in tackling any such set. And because we're done with the basics, we've done enough practice, and we're looking at more exam orientation, we're looking at spotting, doing easy stuff, right? So in that category, in that discussion, this would be the easy doable set, and how to spot whether it's easy and doable or it's going to be easy is because the story is very short and the data is very limited. After that, it's not that this is not the easiest set of the lot. You will have to try out a little bit, experiment and play with the numbers. You don't have a formula, you'll have to figure out the logic on the spot. But beyond that, because the initial story was so limited, the data was so limited, it wasn't overwhelming. I was willing to try it out and see whether the first few steps were visible to me or not. That has been one of our criteria, that can I see the first few steps early in my reading and understanding of the story. Is the story easy enough to understand? Are there too many rules involved in the story, etc. Right? So those are my criteria for spotting the easy stuff. And beyond that, our second agenda is obviously mastering the process of deduction, and especially the art of trying and making errors and then fixing your story, right? So that has been a major skill throughout these major CAT challenges, is that we don't have a formula, we have some rules, and then even after applying those rules, our table does not get full, so I have to try out a certain values. So that would be a major theme here. So let's dive into the problem. Oddsville has 5 firms, A, B, C, D, and E. I don't even want to say out these names and compress the information. Each of these firms was founded in some year and also closed down a few years later. Let me also look at the table as I'm reading. First year of existence, last year of existence. Okay, great. This I don't need to read twice. So the moment I read it and I complete the sentence, I'm already getting a taste that maybe the story is going to be straightforward, right? Further, each firm raised rupees 1 crore in its first and last year of existence. Okay, easy enough again. The amount each firm raised every year increased until it reached a maximum and then decreased until the firm closed down. But the story is still quite straightforward, that any company that I'm thinking of will start with 1 crore, will end with 1 crore, and in between years, whatever number of years there are, it will go to some maximum and then after that start decreasing, right? Just to make it more symmetric. So I'm getting this much at least, that the first year is going to be 1 crore, the last year is going to be 1 crore. In between there would be an increment up to a maximum and then it will start decreasing. And once again, one of an important tip would be to not overthink. Just gather whatever story you can, because you can start overthinking. Okay, I know this, but I don't know all of this is going to be so difficult. So remove that voice, stick to the story only and see what happens, right? No firm raised the same amount of money in 2 consecutive years. Okay, so now deductions start coming in. If this is 1 crore, this can't be 1 crore. If the last year is 1 crore, the second last year can't be 1 crore, because you can't have the same amount in 2 consecutive years. Each annual increase and decrease was either by rupees 1 crore or by rupees 2 crore. So once again, I'm just trying out the story. If I'm thinking of 1, after 1, the next year could be 2 or it could be 3. Right? That's how the story is going to work. So I can't jump to 4, I can't jump to 5. Of course, after 2 and 3, I can go to 4 or maybe a 5. But from 1, I can go to a 2 and 3 only. I'm just playing with the same story. I'm ending at 1. That means the second last year, once again, has to be 3 or 2 only. Because if it is 4, from 4 to 1, there is a 3 crore drop. The story tells me that the increase or decrease was by either 1 crore or rupees 2 crore, right? So that is the rule of the game, and that's it. The story is over, because if I compare it to other sets in this particular slot only, you will see a lot of sets which are difficult to read in the beginning, or the story is quite complicated where you'll have to read the rules a few times and then also you don't know what the first step is going to be. Here I have read the story and I've already got a reasonable picture, right? And then this is the table given to me. A 2009 ends in 2016. So I know in 2009 is going to be 1 crore. In 2016 is going to be 1 crore. And the total is 21 crore. So in between years, I'll go from 2 to 4, maybe 5, and then start coming down, or maybe 6 and start coming down. I don't know, but I'm just thinking of a general picture. preparing the ground in my mind for the actual work that is going to happen, just warming up with the data, right? 2012 and 2015 will be 1 crore and 1 crore, and in between those years 2013 and 14 something will happen, right? So that's my game. I've understood what the story is, quite easy to follow. I've understood the rules here, starting with 1, ending with 1, can increase or decrease by 1 or 2 only, right? So those are my conditions. Let's go and start working with the data. So this is my general rough grid to work out this information. These are my years. I'm starting with 2009 because that was the first year in the story for any of the companies. And I'm going up to 2016, I can definitely see, but maybe there are more years also because I don't have the ending data for C and E, right? And let me think of the characters, or let's say A, the total is 21. So let me put it up in the last column, the total is 21. For B, I do not know the total. And again, this story I know is starting in 2009 and is ending in 2016. So this is one, that much I know. But these are too many boxes to fill out or start thinking of right in the beginning. Another tip would be to always look for smaller pieces of data that you can tackle first. And if I look at that, this is a very short story. It starts in 2012, ends in 2015. Starts in 2012, so let's say 1 crore in 2012, and last year is 2015, so 1 crore in 2015, right? So this much I know for sure. Now, if I start with 1, what can I do in 13? I can be a 2 or a 3. Now, this is me being very systematic and organized and thinking beforehand only, okay, these are my possible stories. I'll start with 1, go to either 2 or go to 3. Now I will work step by step with the 2 story and try and figure out the value here, right? So from 2, can I go to a 3 crores? Yes, I can. And from 3, can I go to a 1? Yes, I can. So this 1, 2, 3, 1 story is going to work for me, right? Again, this is working. The learning always happens from where stuff does not work. Can I put a 4 here? Because from 2, I can jump to 4, 1 or 2 crore increase, right? So 2 crore increase, I go to 4. But from 4, I will not be able to come back to 1 because that's a drop of 3, which is not allowed. So 4 is not going to work for me. So this is what we mean by trial and error, and deductive reasoning is being played out anyway, that can it be 4? No, it can't be 4. Why can't it be 4? Because the ending is 1 and you can't drop to 1 from a 4 because your drop is limited to a 1 or 2, right? So the one part is trying and the second part is that basic deductive reasoning, checking the rules, right? So if I start with 2, 3 is fine, 4 is not allowed, 5 obviously I can't even jump to. Can I go to a 2 again? No, I cannot, because the story also told me that no consecutive years are the same. So from 2 I cannot go to a 2. Can I go to a 1? No, again, because 1, the same value for 2 years. And while I try out this one story, my brain automatically, just by trying it out, is also getting familiar with the story and familiar with how to play with the game so that I can try it in other companies. So when I try it in other companies, whatever time I have spent here thinking, whatever insights I have picked here, will help me go faster when I look at other companies, right? So this 4 is not going to work for me. If I go with a 2, it has to be 1, 2, 3 and then 1. Let me go for the 3 story. That means after 1, I go to a 3. After 3, can I go to a 3? No, I cannot. Can I go to a 2? Yes, I can, because from 3 to 2 and then 2 to 1, I can do that, right? Can I go to a 4? No, I cannot. I already saw that logic, because if I put a 4 there, then I cannot jump to a 1 because my decrease is limited to 1 or 2. And I'm repeating that logic every single time, right? So if I'm starting with a 3, in this particular story, I can go to a 2. So I have a story 1, 2, 3 and 1, or 1, 3, 2 and 1, right? I'm capturing it like this. You can make 2 separate entries as well. This is to minimize the space, right? So, and can I do anything else? From 1, I cannot go to 4 anyway. So these were my only possible options and I have thoroughly explored them. And this is the process that you will need to repeat over and over again for every single company. So my suggestion would be to pause the video, or in fact don't watch the video anymore, and try out this playing by yourself, because that's where the skill will get developed, not by me doing it, right? Again and again for you. Okay, now let me think of the total. If I go for a 1, 2, 3, 1 story, 2, 1 1 and 2 is going to give you 3, 3 plus 3 is going to give you 6, and 6 and 1 is going to give you 7. So the total is going to can be 7. Or if I go for a 1, 3, 2, 1 story, once again the total is 7 only. 1 and 3 is going to give you 4, 4 and 2 is going to give you 6, 6 and 1 is going to give you 7. And I can see that also because I have a 2, 3 or a 3, 2. The numbers are not really changing, just the placement is changing. And even this is giving me an insight that whenever I create a series like this, maybe these adjacent numbers can go up by 1 or go down by 1, right? Don't think that much, but let's say the sum definitely I figured out is going to be 7. Obviously, I've taken more time here because my job is to explain the process and get you started. But I think when you try it out by yourself, this data can be figured out fairly quickly within 15-30 seconds as such, which will give you a boost of confidence as well. So this is the B story. And I have logged it down to 2 possible scenarios. Great. C is starting with 2013. C is starting in 2013. So definitely I know it's going to be 1 crore. And the total is 9 crores. The total is 9 crores. This is C story. Okay. And I know the starting year is 1 and the ending year is also going to be 1. But I do not know where it is going to last. End up here on 14, 16, 17 or maybe 18 or 19, I don't know. So I just keep it loose and I say somewhere there is a 1 again, right? And once again, I try and complete the story. I mean, you can look at D story, which is probably easier to work out, but just trying to master the process, right? So once again, if I start with a 1 and I know the total is 9, which I'll use in a second, my starting options are very limited, 2 or 3. Okay, now I know what game to play. I stay with the 1 and then 2 story. So 1 and 2, 3. The sum so far is 3. Can the next term be 3? Maybe. And then the next term be 2. I'm just trying the easiest example possible, right? That 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. That kind of a story. And I'm going to check it again and again with the sum. So if this is the story, maybe 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 3, 6. 6 plus 2, 8, 8 plus 1, 9. Wow, this would work. That means this 1 can come here. You can forget about this now. And a story like 1, then 2, then 3, then 2, and then 1 is giving me a sum of 9. This is once again me just playing with the data. I tried out a 3 and then after that I did not do that splitting, okay, every possible scenario. I just looked at a sum and tried a number and it worked out for me, right? So I could have a story which is 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Can I have a 4 here? Like I'm playing with the same story, 1, then 2, and then maybe in this box I put a 4. Let me write it here for a minute. So 1 and 2, 3, 3 plus 4, 7. And the last year, don't know where it is, but wherever it is, it's going to be a 1. So 7 plus 1, 8. The total is 9. You're left with one more 1. So the next step would have to be 1, which is not possible on 2 accounts. You can't have a 1 and a 1. 1 and a 1, and you can't go from 4 to a 1. So after the 2, when I'm choosing this number, see, 4 is not working. So even if you did not directly jump to this particular story and you wrote down 3 and 4, you will figure out that if I jump to a 4, then the story is not going to work out. The sum is not going to be 9. A lot of rules are going to be broken. Okay, and after 2, I could have gone for a 3 or a 4. 4 I see does not work. 3 ka story I have already worked out. So maybe the 2 story options are gone. Anyway, from 2 I can not go to a 2 because the data cannot be repeated. I cannot go to a 1 directly because then the sum will not be 9. So after a little bit of trial and error and experimentation, remember no formula is available. You have to keep at the values, and again you have to keep all emotions and fear and all other things aside and only be obsessed with the numbers for those few seconds, right? So this 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 is great. Let me try out the 1 and then 3 story. So I'm trying it out in this box, 1 and then 3, and somewhere in the last year is going to be a 1. Can I go to a 4? Okay, let's see. 3 plus 1, 4. 4 plus 4, 8, and the last year 1, 9. That means the last year will have to be here. Again, I cannot go from a 4 to 1. The sum I'm already getting 9 with these values. So 1 and 3 is fine, but I cannot go to a 4, right? And if 4 is creating a problem, I cannot also go to a 5, because remember from 3 I can go to a 4 or a 5, 1 crore or 2 crore jump. But I already see a limitation. Your brain will already see the limitation and will say, okay, 4 is not working, 5 is also not going to work. From a 3, where else can I go? I can't go to a 4, I can't go to a 5. Can I go to a 2? But if I go to a 2, 3 plus 1, 4, 4 plus 2, 6, and then I have to start going down only, and the last number is going to be 1. The total is 7. I wanted to get 9. So if I try the 3 story, long story short is that this does not work. This 3 does not work. I am only left with my 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 story, right? And again, remember, time is not a limitation, because even if you give this set 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and you manage the other easy set, you're crossing over to 99 percentile. So don't be in a hurry while tackling the, be urgent, be ready, be like fast and furious. But don't, even if you take some time, it's fine, right? Because there is no quick way to get to this without trying it out, right? Without the developing the logic on the spot, essentially. So C I have figured out 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. This data is gone. Let me remove it. And I'm very happy because B I got 2 stories. C I've got a definite locked in 1 story only. And C looked complicated because the end data was not given. But the sum and the game rules told me that this is the only possible story. What about D? D is also great data to work out. Why? Because I'm starting in 2011. Okay, starting in 2011 for D is going to be 1 crore. And ending in 2015, this is going to be 1 crore. And the total is given to me as 10 crores. Okay, very interesting. Let's dive into this story. Once again, now I know my starting point here could be a 2 or a 3. And I can start thinking backwards also, by the way. My ending point would also be a 3 or a 2, which we'll see in a minute. But let's go on with this story. And again, let me try out that, okay, 1 and then a 2 story. And then after that, what if I go to a 3 and then to a 2 and then 1? So 3 plus 3, 6 plus 2, 8 plus 1, 9. I wanted 10. So I want one more number here. And just after a little bit of playing, maybe I can see that if this is 4, this story will be fine, right? So 1 and then 2, total is 3, 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 2, 9, 9 plus 1, 10. Great, this data is working for me, right? From 2, I could have jumped to a 3 or a 4 only. So my 2 story is worked out. If I go for a 4 and I have to end at when this is the only possibility, right? So the possibilities later get limited automatically. So now once again, let me go for the 3 story. I have a 1 here and then a 3 here, and I am ending with 1 again. Now I already know 1, 2, 4, 2, 1 gives me a sum of 10. If after I have already increased this 2 by 1, and if I keep it 4 here, my sum is going to become 11. So 4 is not allowed here. Can it be a 5? 5 plus 4, 9 plus 1, 10. This will have to be 0, which is not allowed. So after 3, I cannot go to a 4. I cannot go to a 5. And can I go to a smaller number? What if I go to a 2? Then again, this will be problematic because this will have to be at least 1 or 0, which is not allowed. Because the last year is the minimum, right? Absolute, like you go up to a max and then you come down to the minimum. So essentially what I realize is, once again, just by trying it out, that this story is not going to be working for me, and I'm left with 2 here, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1. For D, again, I have a locked in story. Again, this is a great point for you to stop the video and try the rest by yourself. That is the number 1 skill builder. Struggling with the set, knowing that it can be solved, not looking at a solution and keeping at the problem. Okay, if it doesn't happen in the first hour, first half an hour, doesn't matter. After one break, I will look at it again and see, okay, I must have missed something, or I'm not willing to try something out, because a lot of people will find it mentally hectic. Okay, these many numbers I have to try, but once you get down to it, you will see it wasn't too much effort, right? I got too excited in saying that. Okay, so now I have the A story, and which is long again, and I have the E story. It is starting in 2010. 2010 is going to be, let's start with E. 2010 is going to be 1 crore for sure, and the total is 13. Okay, so let me try a simple, again, just to change the process, because this was very organized, very systematic. Let me just play a little more. What if I do a 1, 2, 3, 2, 1? I already know that sum comes out as 9. I wanted 13. Okay. In fact, that is interesting, because if I do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 9 plus 4 gives me 13, right? So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3 plus 3, 6 plus 4, 10 plus 2, 12, and 1, 13. The total I know is 13. Should have put that earlier. Is going to work for me. Now, when I look at this story, just like this story, it could be 2, 3 or 3, 2. If I look at these two numbers and if I just swap them, again, that is not going to create too much of a problem for me, right? That means if this is 3, then this is 4. But if this is 4, then this is 3, right? These are two alternate stories. So that much you can definitely play with it. So again, remember, this is which story? I started with 1 and I went to a 2, right? And then I built that story along. I actually just tried out a very simple 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 story, checked out the sum, compared it to the sum required, thought a little, and I'm assuming that this data would come to you as well, right? So you figured out this, but maybe there could be other versions. What if I go to a 1 and then a 3 and then a 5 and the sum is 9? I have to end with a 1, 9, 1, 10, and if I make it a 3 here, right? More playful, more direct maybe, because again my key marker is that sum, right? So I started with a 3 and 3 and 4, and then I said, okay, what if I add a 5 here? What happens then? And once again, I do invite you to pause and see, okay, what if I try and put a 4 here, will that work? And that task I'm leaving up to you. Try it out by yourself and see whether you can build a story like this or not. This 1 can move around a little bit maybe, but if I go and just think out loud, 3 and 1, 4, instead of 5, you have a 4 here, let's say for a second, right? Now, if I keep the rest of the story, then I know my sum will not be 13 because with a 5 the sum was 13. With a 4 my sum will become 12, right? That means somewhere I'll have to increase something. This can't be increased. This can be increased to 4, but then from 4 I won't be able to jump back to a 1. But again, you might think, maybe the 1 is here, some other story is happening, right? So 1, 3, 4, the 1 is here, and let me forget this for a second. Let me keep this as 2 and check again 1, 3, 4, 4, 8, 2, 10 and 1, 11. That means this will have to be a 2, which is again not allowed because you can't have two consecutive years with the same value. So essentially, after trying this out, this is a good set of numbers. So maybe this story will require slightly more of an effort compared to a B story and C story. But remember, I'm thinking you have easily 10 minutes for the set. The reading did not take more than 1 minute. So even if you take a minute and a half to figure out each company, that is fine, because once that table is figured out, then your rest of your story is going to be very, very easy, right? So for E, remember, this is also an E story. That means it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, or it could be 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, right? So three possible stories for E, and both of them represent E only. I didn't want to fill out the boxes, so I kept it in a separate row. Okay, now finally let's deal with A, whose story is the longest, the numbers are biggest. But the advantage of doing so now is that I have already warmed up to the process. So even though the task is slightly bigger, I am willing to try it out, right? If I follow this story, this is not working for me, right? Let me go back a few steps and add a 5 here, and then let me check out and a 4 and a 3. Let's see what happens. 3 plus 3, 6 plus 4, 10 plus 5, 15 plus 4, 19 plus 3, 21, 19 plus 3, 22 plus 1, 23. I don't want 23, I want smaller numbers. What can I do with this? From 23 to 21, there is a drop of 2. So can I make this a 3? 4 went to a 3. And can I make this a 2? 3 went to 2. Now let me check out the sum. 3 plus 3, 6 plus 4, 10 plus 5, 15 plus 3, 18 and 2, 20. And then 1, 21. Now, even before trying out other scenarios, I know this 4 could be a 5. You could put a 5 here, or you could put a 4 here, because I know this pattern I've seen earlier, right? Because from 3 you can go to a 5, 5 you can go to a 4, and from 3 you can go to a 4 and then go to a 5, and everything else still works out. So two possible scenarios. (4/5) or 5/4. right? So again, this story that I worked out, I did not exactly try every possible scenario because this was small. I was willing to try it out. Here I went for a general pattern and then I adjusted it according to the value. So maybe this tip will work for you. If you want to go systematically, that is also fine. That might take slightly longer, right? And the game is not to get mentally tired or exhausted in between the game, because the game is straightforward. The numbers are quite small. Can I try out another story? What if instead of 10, instead of 2 here, I have a 3? No, once again, I say this time definitely you pause the video and see, can you build a story starting with 3, ending with 1, and a sum of 21 be created? And you will see that does not happen. No matter what direction you take, this story is not going to happen, right? So that means these are my two possible stories: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you, in this particular step, you might think that, oh, I directly came to the answer. No, I tried out a 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1 pattern. That didn't work. I didn't reach 21, so I added a 5, and then I said, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There was no space, so I said 5, 3, 2, 1. I might have tried 4 and then 2, 1 and tried that process again. So it's a matter of experimentation only. Still pretty much the same game. I'm trying out the values. Just because the set was bigger, I went for a pattern and then tried correcting it, right? So with that, I'm pretty much done with the table. I've got all the possible stories. Some stories are fixed, some stories have multiple scenarios, some stories have multiple scenarios. This E particular story has 3 possible scenarios, right? And with this, the questions are now going to be very, very easy. Let me just mark it out. This is A story, this is B story, this is C story, this is D story. Both are E story. There are 3 E stories here, right? Now, let me look at the questions. For which firm or firms can the amounts raised by them be concluded with certainty in each year? Certainty I see for C, and certainty I see for D as well. So my answer is going to be only C and D. For everybody else, I'm getting multiple stories. That means I cannot be certain, right? So very easy now. What best can be concluded about the total amount of money raised in 2015? So we are thinking of the 2015 column. So let's start adding it up. 2 is fixed, 1 is fixed, 3 is fixed, 1 is fixed. But remember, this is 1 or this is 0, and both of these are E stories. That means it could be, if you want to simplify it, it could be a 1 or a 0. The notation might become confusing. So it is a 1 or a 0. So again, this 2 is fixed. 2 plus 1, 3. 3 plus 3, 6. 6 plus 1, 7. The 7 crores are definite. I know there are no variables in the story. But here for E story, I could have a 1 or I could have a 0 because the story is already over in 2014. So my answer would be 7 crores or 8 crores, because the sum so far is 7. 7 plus 1, 8, or 7 plus 0 is going to give you 7, right? So my answer is going to be, it is either 7 crores or 8 crores. Then it's just about working with the table a little bit, and again not losing concentration, because I've already worked hard enough, and now you don't want to mess it up by a silly mistake, right? I think I made a silly mistake in one of the questions there. I was like, yeah, this. In fact, my own table confused me, right? Because I was like, oh, this is also 1 only. So 7 plus 1, 8 is going to be a definite. So that was a mistake, a concentration mistake, forgetting that this E is 2 stories. It could be 1 or a 0, right? What is the largest possible total amount of money in rupees crores that could have been raised in 2013? So we are thinking of 2013, and because we are thinking of largest possible, in this story 5 or 4, what should I go for? I should go for a 5 because I want to maximize the sum. In this story 2 or a 3, what should I go for? I should go for a 3 because I want to maximize the sum. In this 4, 3 or 3 story, what should I go for? I should go for a 4, right? And here I don't have any options anyway. So let me look at my sum. 5 plus 3, 8 plus 1, 9 plus 4, 13 plus 4, 17. So my answer would be 17 crores. Again, don't add this up because you are already choosing E as 4. You can't choose it as 3 again and then add it again. So maybe this is problematic, but I couldn't find any other way to capture this information. I mean, I could have tried, but I didn't put in too much effort. So the sum is 17. Interesting question, effort question, because you might need to read it and then match it with the data. If the total amount of money raised in 2014 is rupees 12 crores, in 2014 you want 12 crores. So let's see. If I take a 3 and then a 3, 6 plus 2, 8 plus 2, 10 and then if I take a 2, I'll get a 12. If I follow the same story and if I take, because remember these are both E stories, so if I do a 3 and then a 3, 6 to 8 to 10, and if I do this, I will get an 11, which I don't want. Following the same story, if I do a 3 then a 2, it's already reducing because I wanted 12 crores. 3 plus 2, 5 plus 2, 7 plus 2, 9 plus 2, 11. Even if I take the higher value of 1 and 2, I still get to 11 crores only. That means the story that I have to take is 3 and then 3. These 2, 2, 2 and then 2, 2 and then this particular 2, right? So this is the story. And what does this mean? If this is a 3, all it's telling me is that in this particular, now remember thinking of B story, if this is logged in as 3, then I mean I'm following the 2 story. This is ruled out, this is ruled out for this particular question, right? Rest anywhere it is not making a difference. This story is ruled out, this is the story. And again you don't know whether it's going to be 3, 4, 4, 3 or 4, 5, 5, 4, etc. Now what is the question? Then which of the following is not possible? Again, do not mess up here, pay attention to the language, not possible. B raised the same amount of money as E in 2013. In 2013, B raised 2 crores and E raised either 4 crores or 3 crores. So can B raise the same, given the conditions, can B raise the same amount of money as Elvaki in 2013? No, it cannot. Therefore, it is not possible and therefore it is my right answer, right? Let's look at the rest of the choices as well, or a couple of them at least. A raised the same amount of money as D in 2013. A and D. A can raise 5 or 4 and D can raise 4. So is it possible that A and D can be the same? Yes, they can be the same because I do not have any data here. So is this scenario possible? Yes, it is possible. Therefore, it is not my answer because my question was about not possible. A raised the same amount of money as B in 2014. A raised 3, B raised 3. Possible? Definitely possible, but not my answer because my answer was saying not possible, right? So just doing a little extra practice just in case somebody was confused with this particular question. Okay, last interesting question. If E raised rupees 3 crores in 2013, then what is the smallest possible total amount raised in 2012? Okay, so E, I have multiple stories for E. This is also E, this is also E. E says in 2013 has raised 3 crores. So it could be this story, and which means if this is 3, this is going to be 4. This 4 is ruled out. And therefore this 3 is also ruled out, right? That is one deduction I can make. And in fact, that is the only deduction I can make. And then the question is, what is the smallest possible amount of money that could have been raised in 2012? So let me add this up, add the values, but again choose smaller values whenever possible. So between 4 and 5, I want to go for 4 because it says smallest possible. So 4 plus 1, 5, 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 4, or because this is the same story, 4 or 5 will happen, right? This 3 is locked in, but 4 or 5 is still open. So I wanted to go for smallest, so 7 plus 4, 11, not 7 plus 5, 12, and my answer would be 11, right? So it might be confusing in the beginning because you will say, okay, this gave me 3, which told me it will be either 4 or 5, but there's so many values still open, nothing has logged in, so how can I get to the answer? But you just follow the story, you just add up the values and you try and minimize the value, right? So it might throw you off for a second, okay, nothing new happened, I still have so many stories, but you follow the question language and you're done with this in no time, right? And that's it, we are done with the set, and I hope that you see that it's deductive reasoning. It can't, if this is 1, this can't be 1 because a rule told me so, right? I deduce that it cannot be 1. And it is about trying values out, playing with the data and not thinking, overthinking about, oh, is it difficult? Will there be too many values? No, you just start plugging in the values. And if I look at the last 3-4 years of CAT challenges, this is a major skill. So become comfortable with that, right? That means totally get over your formulas or easy equation and finding the value. You have to try out the values, and while trying it out, keeping the rules in mind, the data will emerge to you. Sometimes it might feel hectic. For example, with 21, you might have thought, no bro, 21 will have too many solutions, but look at the story, it's only 2 possible stories. If you start with a 1 and a 3, you will not be able to come to a 21 no matter what you try. So Do not assume things to be difficult before trying them out, and be playful, be willing to play with the data. That would be a major lesson from this particular set, right? And with this, if you manage the second set, we've already looked at one video, one session earlier. If you manage this set, you're beyond 99 percentile already. If you manage 2 questions, 3 questions from one of the remaining sets, or 1 question from the remaining set, you're going beyond 99.3, 99.5, right? But for strugglers, my recommendation has been that please slow down and aim at 2 sets only, but nail them down. When you say aim at 2, that means you have to get them right, right? Unless you're a dire struggler and let's say your strength is VARC or QA, you know you're going to do well there, then you can take a chance with 1 set only, because your overall score will be high because of your verbal skills or your QA skills. A little bit of fluctuation in the other departments is fine. You still get calls from IIMs, right? Plenty of IIMs. So I hope all of these lessons stick. This is it for this session. I will see you really soon with the next challenge. This journey will continue for 2013 slots. My recommendation is also to go back and look at previous old videos. Do not look at the solution. Try out the challenge by yourself again. And this time you know that you have worked it out once earlier. So even if it is difficult, take your time with it and let the process emerge, because that breakthrough will help a lot, right? Once you put in that effort, even if the whole day goes by, but the end of the day or the next day when you solve it, that will do wonders for your brain and the process as such, rather than just passively listening to a solution. So as much as possible, try and develop this process, right? With 50, 60, 70 sets, it starts happening. It's not that impossible. So that's it for today. See you very soon.